whoa, what the what?
Jimmy, I broke my chain while I was out racing the wind because I'm coming for Justin Williams. And look at this. And then I tried to tie it together and
Yeah, that's not how that works. You can't tie it together. I'll show you how to fix it.
Well, good thing we're going to talk about that on tonight's episode. Welcome to Learning with Alisha. My name is Alisha Zellner, and I'm the founder of Bike Ride for Black Lives. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about what happens if your chain breaks trailside while you're trying to beat Justin Williams' record out there chasing the wind, and a little bit of some gear work.
Yep.
If you've missed any of our basic maintenance episodes in the past, check them out on IGTV or at www.bike4blacklives.com. Jimmy?
All right, so let's start with your broken chain here. So first things first, you need to untie it. Chains are designed to work in a straight line. That's how they work best.
Okay.
So, if you have a broken chain, I'll show you here on the bike first. So let's zoom in on this. So if you look at how the bike is set up and where the chain goes, key thing is that you want to make sure that when you put your chain back together, that it looks similar to this. It's going through a front derailleur if you have one, over your chain ring, and then feeds through your derailleur. Okay? Now in this particular case, you've got a broken chain.
Yeah.
And that's simply a couple of links that are broken. Now if you recall, we talked about carrying some spare links with you in your seat pack.
Right.
Along with a basic chain tool if you need it.
They're on the trail.
Yeah. So, depending on how your chain breaks, I'll show you the quick links here in just a second. First, I'm going to show you how the chain tool works. If you use the quick links, you want to cut your chain so that you have two intersections like that.
Explain the intersection.
So, your chain has inner plates and outer plates. The outer plates are going to be the wide section.
Okay.
Inner plates are going to be the narrow section. So if you didn't have that, say your chain broke at one of the outer plates, you would have an odd piece. If you need to cut your chain, that's what the chain tool is for. You simply set your chain right down inside. Like so.
Is this gonna hurt?
Nope. And then turn the little handle. And what that's gonna do is pop the pin out.
Okay.
And push that pin right on through. And when that happens, basically the handle will stop turning. Back it out.
Okay.
We don't need that piece anymore.
All right. It's broken.
Voila.
I guess I'll keep it as a souvenir of the time I almost beat Justin Williams.
So you can cut your chain a little bit shorter.
Okay.
If you have the quick links, those are designed to act as a section of outer plates. Oops, sorry about that. And those are simply snap together links. So those you would add to the chain. Some of these are directional, so you just want to keep an eye out for an arrow if there is one. Your chain, when it goes through the drivetrain, typically when you fix it, you're going to be fixing it along the bottom. That's simply the easiest place to pull things together.
Oh, that makes sense.
So if you do have an arrow on your quick link, just make sure it's pointing that way, because that's the way the chain goes through the drivetrain.
I feel like a lot of bikes come with a lot of directional arrows for people like me.
Yes, they help. They help. So quick link, just one on each side. Slide it together, like so, and pull.
Whoa! No pin needed.
No pin needed.
Okay, all right, Jimmy.
Now, normally these will snap in place. This one hasn't snapped yet. If you have trouble snapping this together by hand, what you can do is get it together as far as you can, and then basically just put some pressure on the pedal and snap it into place. So that one actually just snapped.
Okay.
So now you have a complete chain. Some bikes, like hybrids like this, require simply one chain. There are some bikes like the Electra Townies that require two chains.
2 chains!
So if that happens, just know that you're going to have a bigger section of chain to work with.
Okay.
And that's it.
What else do we need to know?
The other thing I would recommend knowing how to do would be a basic gear adjustment. Got a couple of props here to show you what to look for and what you can adjust on your bike.
Okay.
As a general rule of thumb, when you're looking at a rear derailleur, zoom on into the back of that, or we can use this one here. Derailleurs, especially your rear, that's where you're going to make most of your adjustments if you need to. Derailleurs have a couple of features to them to make adjustments. There are the screws, and then there's also a barrel adjuster. For the layperson at home, you don't want to turn the screws.
Don't turn the screws.
Let your bike shop set those for you. These are used to set what's called the high and low limits, as well as the B tension. And some derailleurs, most derailleurs have what's called a barrel adjuster on the back, which is where your cable inserts into the derailleur. That's this little guy right here.
Okay.
The barrel adjuster turns. What those high and low limits do, adjust how far the derailleur will line up with your cassette, with the high gears as well as the low gears. Now, if you have those screws set in correctly, your chain can fall into the wheel, which is why we have these plastic spoke protectors, or it can fall off in between the frame.
You mean this isn't for keeping dirt off this boat?
Not for keeping the spokes clean. It's to keep them protected in case your limits are not set.
I swear as a little kid I was like, Mom, this is how I'm going to keep the bike clean. Okay, that's not what it's for, folks. Okay, roger that.
So yeah, those screws are typically set when you purchase a bike or when you have it tuned up. Ideally, let your shop take care of setting those for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there are derailleurs that do not have barrel adjusters on them. Some simply have a cable that goes directly in.
Oh, right here.
Yep.
Okay.
In a case like this, you usually find the barrel adjuster on the shifter.
Oh.
So, a couple of options here for you. A typical Shimano trigger shifter will have the barrel adjuster here. A grip shifter, like you would find on some of your more comfort-oriented bikes, cruisers, townies, hybrids. Some of them will have grip shifters, and that barrel adjuster is just built into the bottom where the cable comes out. Road bikes typically do not have barrel adjusters on the shifter. What they have instead are a few options depending on when you got your bike. You may have an inline barrel adjuster, so basically you'll have the cable running in one end and then coming out the other, and basically this piece, when you unscrew it, will expand and tension the cable. Some frames, older road frames, will have a barrel adjuster built in if you have external cables here. If you're not sure, ask your local bike shop and they can point out where those barrel adjusters are.
Okay.
Good. Now, how they work, they're actually quite simple. So you have to imagine that you have an arrow on top of here, pointing in each direction.
Like this way?
Yep, so two-way arrow, one that way, one this way.
I don't know where my thumb's out like that. Okay.
Yep. So if you were shifting this bike and you needed to go to a lower gear, so one of the larger rings in the back, and it hesitated to go when you clicked, you would turn that barrel adjuster towards the arrow.
Towards the arrow, kind of like that
Towards the
righty-tighty, lefty-loosey
Yep.
business.
So basically you turn it towards where you want the chain to go.
Up.
Yep, so in this particular case to a lower gear, turn it towards it.
Okay.
Yep, so if you want, go ahead and pedal and shift. And I'm going to make this one out of adjustment. So go ahead and try and go to a lower gear. Okay, well, this one's a pretty good adjustment. Let's go the other way.
Go the other way?
Okay. So there we get a little hesitation trying to drop to a higher gear. So see how it doesn't want to go now?
Yeah, you made
Okay.
it sad, Jimmy.
I made it too tight. So if that were to happen, I would take that, turn it towards where I want it to go.
Down.
Down. Yep. So you would keep pedaling.
Do you adjust it while you're pedaling?
Always
I mean,
while
I
you're
guess-
pedaling. Yep.
I guess you would
So,
be on the bike when you're doing that. But
One thing to note, if you don't have a work stand at home, which a lot of people don't, that's okay. couple things you can use. If you've got a playground nearby, monkey bars, hang your bike from that, works really well. If you have a hanging bike rack off the back of your vehicle, hang your bike, and you can do all of your adjustments right on your car.
You know what's awesome about Fort Collins is that most of our bike workstations that you'll find on any of our local trails, they have bike stands.
Stands and tools. Yep. You can also use a tree. If you've got a low hanging branch, simply drop the saddle right over a branch, bike will hang.
What about just turning the bike upside down on the ground?
You can absolutely do that. That's how I started working on a bike. You just have to remember, when the bike is upside down, so are your adjustments.
Okay, so they're just opposite of
You
what?
just have to remember which way to turn things. Yeah, this because you're working with everything upside down.
Okay,
Yep. Does that make sense?
it does.
One of the nice things about hybrids, or not with this particular hybrid, with the barrel adjuster on the shifter, while you are riding, you can actually adjust your gears if you need to.
Oh,
So-
it is really right here and
Yeah,
right there.
Right there. So if you are riding, you don't necessarily have to get off of your bike to make an adjustment. If you notice things are a little bit off, you can reach down, obviously keep your eyes up, watch where you're going. But yeah, you can make those adjustments right up while you're moving.
You can make them on the
Yeah.
fly.
General rule of thumb, you should only have a need to make a couple of turns on this at tops. If you have to turn it, 8 to 10 times, you need to take it to a shop.
Okay,
Have something readjusted.
all right.
Yeah, these are designed for quick, easy adjustments, either trail side or at home.
Well, thanks so much, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any last takeaways that people should remember, either fixing the chain or when they're adjusting their gears?
Just a reminder for your chain, carry a couple of spare links and a chain tool, you won't have any problems. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Jimmy.
Sure.
And thank you all for joining us tonight. Join us next week for our final episode of our part 2 of our series, where we're going to talk about how to wash these things when you don't necessarily have a hose or a local bike shop to do it for you. Take care.